this is Trevor at Stone Death, and during this video, I will be reviewing the debut album by Disembowel, Echoes of Terror. So, Disembowel is a good old-fashioned death metal group from Portland, Oregon. The band formed in 2016, and between that year and the next year, they released 3 different demos. And then there was about a 3-year gap leading up to their debut album, Echoes of Terror, which was released in March of this year by Maggot Stomp Records. There being 3 years between the last demo and this debut release, there was a lot of fan anticipation. And when Maggot Stomp announced the album, there was rejoice through the streets. These guys really kept us waiting, and you'll see why everyone was so excited when you get into it. But first, I want to talk about the album art. Okay, let's take a look here. This lovely painted image here was designed by an artist named Karen Monzon, whose work you might recognize from the debut album by Cerebral Rot, Odious Descent into Decay from 20 Buck Spin. I mean, if you look closely, you might be able to see some resemblances here, but as for what's actually in this image, we obviously see that the main portion is taken up by this large, oozy, blob-like sort of thing covered in spines and little eyeballs and teeth and reaching appendages and all sorts of good, creepy crap. Down here on the ground, we have our first mangled and nearly unrecognizable body. Very nice. The second one, sticking up here in this tree, rather festive, don't you think? I, personally, am a big fan of the blue sky background because it is my firm belief that far too few gruesome and seemingly supernatural murders happen in broad daylight. It's a little colorful, it's a little ugly, it's got blood and death and monsters and all the good stuff. So, yeah, good piece of work there. Anyway, on to the album. Actually, briefly for a moment, I'd like to point out something funny. Don't these guys look just a little bit like the cast of It's Always Sunny? I mean, here you got Frank, which would be Danny DeVito in high school. You've got Maggot Stomp Mac in the middle with his stupid silent karate moves. And then Dennis with no arms? I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. Echoes of Terror combines the mid-paced attack approach of Bolt Thrower with a heavy influence of Mental Funeral era Autopsy. And when you add in the group's grimy guitar tone and the cavernous vocals and the infectious, high-energy, mosh-worthy riffing, then what this album becomes could very well be the soundtrack to our ancient primitive ancestors discovering that they could bash each other's skulls in over scraps of food. That is to say, this thing is fucking barbaric. The running theme between all 9 tracks on this album seems to be their structure around a series of long but threatening tremolo-picked riffs. They're kind of at the backbone piece of most of these tracks, and the rhythm is just perfect for some seriously cool circle pits. Tracks like Disemboweled or Send to Obscurity start off on a different note than most others with kind of this sludgy, almost Death Doom flavor. Just a hint. Other tracks like Overwhelming Suicide and the title track Echoes of Terror showcase these quickly shredded little guitar solos that really boast this wicked sharp lead tone that the band has going on. But overall, the album takes a pretty straightforward approach to the old school revival style, and it truly embodies the spirit of caveman death metal. So, it's not going to redefine any genres, and it certainly isn't going to cure your case of coronavirus, but after giving Echoes of Terror several listens through and really, really enjoying it, I predict that Disembowel is quickly going to become a staple in American new school of old school death metal, that shit that's becoming so prevalent these days. If you're a fan of the style, and you're like me and you cannot get enough of this so-called death metal renaissance type shit that's coming out all the time, then Echoes of Terror by Disembowel from Maggot Stomp Records is essential listening. Add it to your list, throw it in your cart, do whatever the fuck you gotta do. I will leave a link down below to where you can pick up a physical copy or a digital copy or whatever gets your fucking nipples hard so that you can check this shit out. Anyway, that is the end of my review for the album. So if you're gonna fucking stick around, I will shout out a couple of extra albums. The fun part is, both of these albums are also from Maggot Stomp, just because, you know, yay Maggot Stomp. My first recommendation is for a band that I'm sure lots of you have heard of by now because they get a lot of buzz on the interwebs and such. But I'm going to mention them anyway because they are near and dear to my heart. This is the demo Pornographic Seizures by Ohio's Sanguisugabogg. This pretty little baby is a 4-track riff parade of down-tuned drug death with a healthy dose of D-beats that'll keep your filthy fucking nozzle moving in that goddamn pit. So check it out. This next recommendation is for a band from fucking Texas, some good old Texas death metal. This is Encased in Ice by Frozen Soul. This demo right here is now and forever my official Christmas music. 15 minutes, give or take, of some seriously brutal Ice Age level caveman fucking shit. And I gotta say, there's just something about the sound of a man being killed with an icicle that tickles me pink. I mean, it's on here. You gotta check this shit out. Pick it up. As a final note about my recommendations, both these guys, Sanguisugabogg and Frozen Soul, as far as I'm aware, are supposed to have debut full-length albums, both coming out on Maggot Stomp sometime this year. So shoot over to their Instagrams, Facebook pages, whatever the fuck that you do, and follow their pages, or the Maggot Stomp page also, just to, stay informed. And that's it. That's my review of Echoes of Terror by Disembowel. You've seen my recommendations. I will leave links down below in the description to everything you need. And farewell. Thanks for watching. And check back in for the next one. Oh, hit subscribe.